What up? Welcome in to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday, I did I did go back a little bit. I think I went 3 and 4 overall. I know the prop did not go through. Lillard didn't show up for the kids like he said. Didn't get his they won, but I thought would have a much better performance than what we saw from him. And Mikal Bridges didn't get there either in his return versus Phoenix. So those two props were losers. Just looking back down yesterday's card, the other ones, the Hornets was another loser, and the Memphis and Rockets total, I bet under 211, I believe it was. That was a loser. The winners were the Bucks minus 6.5. The Bucks game over, and there's one more there that I'm overlooking. But anyway, 3 and 4 day, so not profitable, and got to do better here today. We have Mr. Veno to try to help us out. It's been a little while since I chatted with you. How have you been? How's the NBA been treating you?
I've been good, buddy. Yesterday, the NBA was 0-1. I had the Phoenix-Brooklyn game over the total, 230. Got the 226. Not enough. Brooklyn did well, covered that number. You and I talked about that a little bit on the NBA show for Wagertalk yesterday. We both thought Brooklyn would be the right side. They were, but unfortunately just not enough points in that game to push it up and over the total. Some of the scores, Ski, I mean, you start charting these things on a nightly basis and just look at the amount of 40-plus point quarters teams have, the amount of 240-plus games that happen nowadays. It's crazy, but that one was one that did not quite make it. So we'll look to get back with it here today.
Absolutely, and do want to give we do have people guessing, by the way. I'll keep going through the chat to see who gets it right, but Austin thinks Periwinkle. Raven Run said Gray plus 300. I'll keep going down, but I do want to give some credit to the chat. There were a lot of best bets shared from you guys, and overall, from what I recorded, 20 winners, 15 losers, and that is a profit. That is a profit. So I'll shout out I'll shout out the winners. We had Justin with Rozier, points, rebounds, and assists over. DB on the Nets +2. Brian had a split there. Avery, he had the Bucks first half, -3.5. That was a split because he had the Suns. So maybe I won't mention the splits. I'll mention the ones where they just, profited on the day. Rayhan, he said, we can make some money with money line parlays. He put Philly and Houston together, and that one was a winner. Let's see. Shout out to Dan. He said Bucks trifecta and the Wizards game over. That's 4 winners given out by Dan. So I think that's the best from yesterday. David had 2 winners with the Rockets -6 and the Jazz plus. Nice work there. Dante like the Bucks team total over 131.5, highest team total I think I've seen, and it cashed. Shaquan said he wanted to continue to fade the Spurs, and he thought Giannis would have a big night. He even laddered Giannis, and Giannis had a career night. So shout out to you, Shaquan. That was an awesome read. Peter, like the Bucks -6.5, that was a winner. Anwar, like Houston, that was a winner. Coin said Raptors game is going over, and it absolutely did. Manny had a winner with the Pels team total over. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys providing all of those winners like y'all do every single day. That's why I always tell people, chat is important to the show. Make sure you guys pay attention to some of these things that are said here. Let's take a look at some more before we get into today's action. Who's going to get it right? Minoff says peach. Wrong. Brian says Michigan yellow. Siete says orange. No. It was simple today. Who's going to get it? Let's see. Chad also had the Bucks trifecta. Nice work there. Maybe I overlooked that. Raven Run says all black again or dark gray. Nobody got it. Alston said that's periwinkle black. It's a lot of comments coming in, but don't see anybody getting it. So we'll have to see if we can do better tomorrow as far as that's concerned. Let's get into some actionable info, and we do have NFL today. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. How about that? You don't have to be anything too crazy, but let's at least touch on it. This one opened up Chargers -4. Flip of favorites. They are now +3. Total open 42.5, down all the way to 34.5. And I am pretty sure that all of this is injury news, right? Justin Herbert not going to play anymore. Obviously going to move the line quite a bit. And I'll say, even when Herbert was in, the Chargers were struggling to score. The run game has been pretty non-existent. Eckler struggling since he came back from injury. I couldn't expect the Chargers to score here. That's just how I feel. I am a disgruntled fan. I'll put that out there for anybody who doesn't know. But it's not a whole lot of things to like from this Chargers team. They've been extremely disappointing so far this season, and I don't see that changing tonight. Do you see it changing tonight, Rob? Do you think the flip of favorites is warranted? And is this total too low, or can we still get under?
Well, you could probably still get under, Ski. I mean, the list of injuries goes way deeper, right? Keenan Allen's not going to play now, so that's no help for backup quarterback Easton Stick, who's going to start for the Chargers. On the other side, not only they lost Colton Miller, their starting left tackle, for the last game against the Vikings, and you saw what they produced: 0. They lose 3-0. They come back here tonight with potentially not having Josh Jacobs or Devontae Adams. They're both questionable now. And it's these short work weeks, right? These 4 days between games where, maybe you could have made it on a Sunday game, but injury's too tough to make it on a Thursday game. So the Chargers are the team that's in the desperate spot. I think lost tonight mathematically, not that they're already eliminated because they probably are, but mathematically, I think you get eliminated if you lose tonight. You're the LAC. It's like handicapping a preseason game is the best way I could put it, Ski. And I'm just not going to get involved in something like this. Anything could break out here. I don't trust the Raiders to score any points after scoring nothing and maybe not having the only two guys who could move the football for them, Jacobs and Adams. And certainly you're not going to bank on LA to move the football with Easton Stick at quarterback and no Keenan Allen. So, I mean, if you're looking at the lesser of two evils, potentially if all these guys are out on the Raiders side, it maybe the lesser of two evils is taking the Chargers and the points. But it's just nothing worth getting involved in. I mean, you could take a read on the game, sit back, watch a quarter, see what you see, and maybe in-game it. Other than that, I just can't give anything with conviction here to the guys watching the show. There's just no way to go, at least not in my world. There's no way to go with this game.
Yeah, I think there's a lot better looks in the NBA. But somebody in the chat said Ralph Michaels put out a stat where totals 35 or less are 80% to the under. That's definitely an interesting stat. Also, how do you call it again? I don't know why I'm blanking out here. Standalone, how do you call it? Standalone games?
Yeah.
Or yeah, those kind of games have also been towards the under too. So I guess I'll leave it with the lean towards the under. Let's move over to NBA here, Rob. We do have 7 games. I like 3 of them quite a bit. So let's get to it. First one up, 519, 520. Cleveland and Boston. Opened up Boston -9. Hasn't really moved. Total open 226.5 and as low as 224.5. Sounds like Rob's gonna like some dogs in this one. The injury report, Jaylen Brown is game time decision. I think it's something with his ankle or something like that. And then for Cleveland, Ty Jerome, Evan Mobley, and Ricky Rubio will be out. This is the front end of a back-to-back for the Celtics. They play Orlando tomorrow. Celtics haven't been playing their best basketball, but the lineup has been inconsistent. I have them as 3-8 ATS their last 11 games. 7-4 as a home favorite on the season, though. Cleveland also 4-2 as a road dog. So they did just play not too long ago. Spread was, I believe, 12 or something like that, and Cleveland covered. Can that defense keep them in the game and cover once again on the shorter number, or would you look towards Boston here, Rob?
Yeah, I think it's dependent upon the Boston mindset, Ski, which is why I wasn't involved in this one. I mean, they just beat the team by 7. They're back to backs. They're both at home. It's not like one's in Cleveland and one's in Boston. They're both here in Boston. And I just don't know how satisfied Boston might be thinking we can handle this team. Or I would think if all things are equal and the court is level and everybody's playing fully focused, I would like Boston in that instance, but just can't be sure here. Obviously, they're the better shooting team. Um, Cleveland is on a 3-1 ATS run, which kind of steps me back from Boston a hair. I took a look at the total. That game the other night, a couple nights ago, wound up hitting 233. And here we're only looking at 225, which is a, pretty significant difference of 8 points. And Cleveland just doesn't seem to be the same defensive team that they were last year. So, these back-to-backs are rough, Ski, to tell you the truth. A lot of times, in some instances, I'll counterpunch and I would come back and play Boston. But it's the favorite second time again. It's a large favorite second time again after just winning by a sizable margin, 7 points. So I'm not going to speak an awful lot in this game because I didn't play it. I might look total over, but that's been pushed down for those out there. 226.5 opener. Now looking at 225 and a couple of stray 224.5s. So there is some movement toward the under here. Don't know that there's a whole lot that I like, and I'm not involved in player props. So I have to leave this one alone.
I'm looking at it a little bit closer. Neither team really playing with pace here. Cavs last 5 games, 4th best defensive rated team. I know Boston is more than capable of playing defense. I would lean a little bit more towards the under. And if I'm betting this one myself, I think that's the only way I'd feel comfortable. Second time around, you should know how to defend each other. That's what I'll leave as far as a lean. And Rob, I was asking if this is if you know, you know. It didn't populate for me. Maybe they are playing, more than a week, but it did not populate for me. Let me just double check here. They last played a couple days ago, so maybe the total didn't open lower, but when I checked this morning, it did not. And they're trying to guess in the chat, Rob. Do you have? Justin says you have a husky. Well, Cedric says it sounds like a Great Dane. What kind of dog is that you got over there?
That's a yellow lab, and I don't know what he sees, guys, but he sees something out the window in the other room that's driving him nuts. But he's quiet now. He's a big boy. He's about 92 pounds. He's a big boy.
There you go. So nobody gets the shirt color, nobody gets the dog.
This is an easy one. This is navy blue, guys. This is pretty easy today. We didn't stray too far into the rainbow of colors, but yeah, sometimes if you keep it simple, Ski, they're looking for something extravagant. So we wind up on the good side today. Collect all the cash, take the rake out, and maybe we'll pay out next time. Yellow lab was minus 150. Nice.
All right, let's keep going here. Next one up, we have 521, 522. Chicago Bulls at the Miami Heat. Opened up Heat minus 5.5. They're now 4.5, 4-point favorite. Total open 217 and down to as low as 216 right now. Injury report: Caruso's game time decision. Levine is out. Richardson, Bam. I'm sorry, Richardson is a true game time decision. Bam, Hero, and Highsmith are all unlikely to play tonight. So, man, I'm not feeling well, Robin. It's hard. Like yesterday, I did a little bit better, but today I'm having trouble keeping my breath. So I might be passing it to you a little bit quicker than usual today. I remember you saying that the Bulls coach wanted them to play faster. I haven't really seen it as far as in the stats. Last 5 games, they're still 30th in pace, but they have been going over. 8 of the last 9 games continue to go over. So that it could be they continue to try to work on the pace, but that offense is where it's clicking right now. And bottom 10 defensive rated team in the same span. You have both teams here, bottom 10 defending the 3. Is this another game where you could look for a Chicago over?
For me, it is, Ski. Since we talked, it was last Thursday when and I came up with the Billy Donovan quote that he wanted them to increase their possessions per or points per possession or possessions per 48 minutes, excuse me. And they went over against San Antonio that night. Remember, that total dropped. It was a wrong move. The game went over. Since then, over against Milwaukee, barely over against Denver the other night. However, if you got in on the opener of 216, you made it a lot more comfortably than the folks who got in at the end on 219.5. And I think there were even some that had 220 listed as a closer where you would have gotten a push. But again, we get a pretty low number here, and it's Miami related because certainly they always get the short side of the total. And when you combine Chicago with that, I still don't think there's a lot of belief from odds makers or the people who come to the window that Chicago can be used as an over team at this point in time. That's why we get away with 216.5. In this one, I think you get over. Hero and Bam have been out for a few games now. And for Miami, they've gone over this particular number of 216.5 in 5 of their last 7. Even the other night against Charlotte, 115-104 with none of these guys. Night before against Charlotte, 116-114, 230. Feel like they can get to 217 here, 218. The Bulls, again, they've had some rest. This is another one of those back-to-backs, by the way. They're going to play Miami once again here in Miami. Today's Thursday, so that'd be Saturday night. They're going to play again. We'll see what happens in this first one. But until it starts to trend the other way, Ski, or until the odds makers start to really inflate Bulls totals, then I think I have to go ahead and play over. So I'm on this one. I did play it this morning. Bulls, Miami. I got 216. Right now, you're pretty easily can obtain a 216.5.
Yeah, there's still a couple of 216s out there too. I see them, it's on the move, but a couple of them still hanging. That's the direction I will be playing this game too. If I had to bet the side, I would lean towards Chicago. Miami on a back-to-back. Chicago has been the better offense and rebounding team. They've been covering point spreads 5 of their last 6 games, so I think that can continue here tonight. Let's move over. Next game will be, and let me see here. It'll be 523, 524. Timberwolves heading into Dallas to take on the Mavericks. Opened up Mavs -2. It's a pick 'em right now. Total open 229.5. Looking at 230.5. Injury report: Anthony Edwards game time, McDaniels game time, but he's very likely to play. McLaughlin also game time. Clark out. For Dallas, Hardaway likely. Seth Curry, Jones, both game time decision. Josh Green, Kyrie Irving, Maxi Kleber out. This Minnesota team has been, dominant at home, maybe not as much on the road, and I think it has to do a lot with just for whatever reason the defense doesn't travel with them. 8-3 to the over so far on the road. 1-3 as a road dog. This Mavs team missing a little bit of scoring with Kyrie out of the lineup, but over last 5 games, 8-3 to the over at home. I could very well see this one getting up and over the total. Is that how you look to play it, Ravino?
Yeah, you would want Anthony Edwards, right? You would want to be sure that you have him in this game, but I would think so, Ski. I mean, obviously, it's such a contrast in styles, but you broke down the disparity in defensive performance by the Timberwolves, whether it be home or away. It's pretty significant, the difference there. That would lead you to believe that Dallas could kind of control the pace here of this game, making it more of an offensive style game. And I do feel like when teams that are not as likely to score huge like Dallas is a consistently large scorer, but when their opponent faces a defense like Dallas's, which is basically Swiss cheese, they will get up and go with you because they know they can acquire points easily. Sometimes teams like Dallas just lure you in to that track meet. Minnesota probably doesn't fear them in that particular style. So I could see this thing getting over. I think the with or without Kyrie stuff really doesn't matter. We talked about it a little bit last year. If Kyrie does play, in games, great. He's out for a while now. But when he doesn't play or when Luka doesn't play, the other guy just takes over and scores even more. So for Luka, you could probably look for something in the 40 range here in this game here tonight. There's no way to play Dallas other than over. You talked about their last 5, but how about on the season 17-6 over the total? Average game hits 237 points. At home, 8-3 over the total. Average for each game hits 240.1 points. Have to believe that if Minnesota doesn't bring their typical home defense to this game, that you'd probably have to play it over. I'm staring at 230.5 right now. It's going up a point. I think it's the right move. As far as the game itself, it's an interesting handicap there. I could see either side, but I would like to see Edwards in. Maybe Edwards is the reason for the move -2 down to -1. There goes the crazy dog again.
There's a couple good things in the chat too here, Rob. I'll share this from John saying Timberwolves with the rest advantage in conference games going back to 2021, 18-3 straight up, 19-2 against the spread. These are the situations where they get up and have success. That is an interesting team stat. Appreciate you sharing that. And usually I'm one for the rest advantage. Wolves have been the better defense, better rebounding team lately. Maybe they can get it done here, but I think I feel a little bit stronger on the total. So good stuff here. And let's keep it moving. Next game up, we have 525, 526. The Brooklyn Nets heading into Denver to face the Nuggets. Opened up Nuggets -9, 9.5 across the board. Total open 228.5. And seeing it up about 2 points to 230.5. Injury report here for Brooklyn. Dennis Smith Jr. is game time. Ben Simmons and Lonnie Walker both out. Jamal Murray is likely to play tonight. Looks like they'll be without KCP though. So the Nets are on a back-to-back here. But they've been really good. Best point spread team in the league, right? So always hard to go against them. Last 5 game stats, they've been a better offense and defense. Denver starting to get healthy. It still looks like they're going to be missing a starter here, but I don't know. For some reason, I have a gut feeling they could take advantage of Brooklyn on a back-to-back and win this game by margin. But I didn't get to the window with it yet. And I also, when I think of these two teams, I think it could be an over game. Neither team really playing with pace. Brooklyn's offense been really efficient, and with Denver getting healthier, I think we can expect the same from them. So last five of the last 6 meetings have gone over. Brooklyn is 2-0 to the over on a back-to-back. Denver has gone over 5 of their last 7 games. It would be over for me or the Nuggets. How do you feel about it, Rob?
I feel the same both ways. I like the Nuggets a little more. And that's by a shade. That's not a significant amount more, but I do like the Nuggets -9.5 here. I have to believe that this is a absolute picnic for Jokic in this game. Again, the Nets have problems with size, and nobody better at all aspects of offense with size than Nikola Jokic. So if they do have all their parts here, and Jamal Murray is going to play, and it looks like Aaron Gordon's probable as well, I would have to believe that the Nuggets are the right side. The Nets not only are in back-to-back, but they're in 3 in their last 4 nights. They started in Sacramento, night off, at Phoenix, now into Denver, into altitude, which means second half they could, if you're going to fatigue in Denver, you're going to fatigue second half of a back-to-back or 3rd and 4th nights. So maybe Denver can create margin second half here. That's probably why I wouldn't try them first half, even though that's I wouldn't talk anybody off it. But I do think, they've shown the ability to win by this type of number ski the last 2 nights, not being entirely healthy, or last 2 games, excuse me. They beat Atlanta by 7. They beat Chicago by 8, and they weren't even as healthy as they may be tonight. So I think they're probably the right side here. Again, the fundamentals line up for me because it predicts to be a really good night for Jokic. And the way that they are on offense with their efficiency, I think that works. The Nets are kind of a 3-point. They're a good 3-point shooting team, don't get me wrong, but they're kind of dependent upon it. And if they start to not fall in the second half, I could really see this thing ending up like a 15-point Nuggets win, somewhere in that 125, 110 range, something like that. So I would look at Denver here in this game minus the 9.5.
All right, good stuff. Let's keep it going down the list. We're doing a pretty good job here, making good time. Next game up will be 527, 528. Oklahoma City Thunder heading into Sacramento to take on the Kings. Opened up Kings -2. Between -1.5 and -2 right now. Total open 241.5. Looks like 244.5. Some 245s. Some 245s on the board. Injury report. Nobody for the Thunder. Trey Lyles, game time decision for the Kings, and they're without Alex Lynn. This Kings team, when they play competition, 55% win teams are better, 7-0 ATS. But the Thunder, 5-3-1, I guess, first competition, 4-0-1 as a road dog. They have covered or 12-4-1 ATS their last 17 games. So Thunder have been playing really well for quite a while. Last 5 game stats show them as the better offense, better defense. Kings do have the rebounding advantage in this one. My thought here, Rob, I like the total a little bit more. If I have to play the side, I would be rolling with OKC just because they're catching points, and I feel like I trust the way they've been playing lately better. But with the total, like I trust OKC on the defensive end. I don't really trust the Kings on the defensive end. So combination of that and how OKC, I mean, both teams play really fast. So I looked at it. Sacramento team total is like 122.5 or 123. OKC, there's only been 3 games, excluding overtime games, where they've allowed over 122.5. Um, Top 10 defensive rated team last 5 games. If I want to bet anything here, I think I want to bet Kings to stay under 123. Can you talk me off of that? Or how do you feel about the side?
I can't, as long as you want to give me OKC hitting 125 or 126 so it gets the game over. I like over 244.5. And I think something you said there helps me even a little bit more, because you said you trust Oklahoma City defensively. And I trust teams that are really, really good at something to bounce back. And that offensive performance out of the Kings the other night was miserable against the Clippers. 41% from the floor, 27% from 3. I think 99 points for a game by the Sacramento Kings. It's unheard of. So I think they're going to get theirs in this contest. It seems to me that in the age of basketball that we're in, unless it's playoff style defense, it's not good enough to hold teams below 110, something like that. So I think Sacramento gets theirs. And I do think OKC, you can't trust that Sacramento defense whatsoever. Their opponents just continually shoot 47, 48, 50% or better. So I think they'll have a good night offensively as well. The Nets came in here on Monday night, and I think that game hit 249, if I'm not mistaken. It was a 131-118 game. Similar type deal, other than Oklahoma City being deeper than the Nets and Oklahoma City being bigger than the Nets. But I do think you get a track meet. I do think you get a bounce back offensive performance out of Sacramento. I do think you get both teams over that 120 range. So as long as Sacramento puts the brakes on and lets Oklahoma City get over that 125, then I can't talk you off your play, but I do like over 244.5.
All right, we see this one a little bit different. The chat agrees more with you. They're liking the over here, and majority of people liking the Kings. So not a lot of people feeling the same way as myself. We'll see how it shakes out tonight. I didn't get to the window with it yet, but I still might. Let's keep going. We have 2 more games left, and next one will be 529, 530. This is Utah and Portland. This is a game I like. Opened up Portland -1.5. They're now 3.5 point favorite. Total open 230.5. Down as low as 225.5. Injury report for the Jazz. John Collins, game time decision. It looks like they're gonna. Yeah, Markkinen is doubtful. Clarkson is out, and Keontae George. is out. So they're missing, they're going to be missing for sure 2 starters, potentially 3. And I mean, Clark should come off the bench, but he's one of their leading scorers. So it's a lot missing for this Utah team here tonight. Um, they are on the second of a back-to-back, 7 straight travel spot for them. Do you think they have enough to get the job done versus Portland? It's the first game Portland is favored this season. Are they favored for a reason, Mr. Veno?
Well, last night they brought Markkanen back, right? So I kind of handicapped this game under the assumption that Markkanen wouldn't go back to backs. They looked good against the Knicks last. I mean, when Utah's all together, that's a really good offense and it's a really poor defense. But I don't see them that entire rotation being together tonight, which would lend me to looking at Portland. However, laying 3.5 is difficult. I then went to the Portland team total because Utah's so bad defensively. I thought, well, maybe Portland will go ahead and get over their number. Their number is 114.5 tonight. Asking Portland to get 115 is tough to do as well. So the ways I want to look at this game, Ski, the odds makers are making it tough on me. I can't back Utah without Markkanen in this game. I can't really get myself to play Portland over 115 points. Leaves me in kind of a quandary. 225 in any Utah game generally is a low number. Maybe you can get the combo effort out of both and get over 225, but it's a game I had ideas on. It's a game that the number kind of, swayed me off of. So I'm nowhere on this contest, although it seems to me there's got to be some way to play Portland, whether it be breaking the game up, maybe playing first quarter, first half, or maybe waiting and playing in game. Maybe there's some way to play that Portland total first half. There's got to be something there, but right now I haven't found it.
Well, I think I agree with Nets bets here. He's like in Portland -3. And for myself, I mean, I do think they're favored for a reason. I mentioned Utah missing a lot of their firepower, missing potentially 3 starters tonight, 7 straight travel spot for them, and already 3-8 as a road dog so far this season, 1-3 ATS on the second of back-to-backs. This Portland team has 2 days rest, home favorites or rested home favorites versus unrested opponents win about 73.6% of the time. -3.5 is pretty much asking Portland to win here. But in general, Utah has 16 losses? I remember because we just talked about this with OKC Thunder, but 11 of those 16 losses have come by 13 plus points. So I think it's a situation where Portland wins, they do win by margin. But just to make it make sense mathematically, you could, I said they win 73.6% of the time. The -160 even right now is 61.5% implied probability. I even think that's a good bet. So Portland -3.5, Portland money line, however you decide to take it. Portland has covered 6 of their last 8. I think they cover another one here tonight. So that is the side that I prefer. And let's keep going over to the next game. Sorry if I'm skipping over a lot of comments today. Like I said, I'm not feeling the greatest, and I'm struggling to even talk for as long as I'm talking. So I'm just trying to make it through, man. So bear with me, you guys. Last game up, 531, 532. Golden State and LA Clippers opened up Clippers -6, down as low as -5 right now. Total open 231. Not seeing much movement as far as that's concerned. Injury report: no Draymond, no Gary Payton II for the Clippers. Boston and George, both game time decision. Plumlee and Musa out. So my bad. This one, I don't really like to bet on Golden State when they don't have Draymond Green. I think he's really important to whatever they do, whether it's the offensive or defensive end. Warriors, however, are 6-3 as a road dog so far this season. It's a lot of stuff going on over there, though. Steph getting frustrated with how things have been going. Kerr fed up with the starters, not really producing. It's not a whole lot to like from this Warriors side, whereas Clippers have started to trend in the right direction. So to see this line come down a little bit, it's interesting to say the least. Maybe Clippers win but don't cover. I can see that happening, but I don't feel very safe with Golden State in my pocket tonight. Um, I will say Clippers usually an under team when they're at the house, 8-2 to the under 4 of their last 5 games. Do you think this one is another under contest? And would you go with the Clippers who are trending in the right direction?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I wouldn't play Golden State in this situation. The same type of quotes are still coming out of that locker room as we talked about last week, right? Last week, I read that whole Steve Kerr quote about how, we have to make the adjustments. We haven't found the rotations yet, blah, blah, blah. Like you say, it's extended to where Steph is a little frustrated. And to your point, Steve Kerr he benched all those starters in the fourth quarter Friday night when they made that kind of, 2.5 to go in the game and they're down pretty good. And they come back. I think it was Steph and 4 reserves on the floor. They came back and made it difficult on Phoenix because Phoenix got sloppy at the end. But I'm more to the latter part of what you said. I'm way more to playing the under in this game. I just don't see Golden State at this point in time as the same explosive offensive team that we've been accustomed to seeing out of them. I think they probably, link arms and go out there and try and dig in the defensive trenches to win this game against the Clippers. And the Clippers are still a pretty slow-paced team. It's not a quick team. I mean, when Westbrook is running a whole show for, a few minute spurts, that's a different thing. But I don't know that this game can reach this number. The other night, the Clippers held Sacramento to 99. That's a really good offense. Golden State doesn't have the Kings offense at this point in time. And like you said, the little things that don't show up in the box score that Draymond brings to the team won't be available here. So all that being said, I just think this total is a little bit too high. I think the Clippers are probably the right side ski. I think if there's, if you're in that locker room, you probably see a cornered type animal here and you try and take advantage. Golden State doesn't have Draymond. They're playing. They don't even know what they're doing right now. We got to win these games. I just don't know that the Clippers, they've never shown me that they have that kind of killer instinct. So it makes it a little bit tough to trust them laying points. But, and then again, you have to look at Paul George too. He's on that injured list. Make sure he plays here. But I think under is the right way to go. And if George doesn't play, probably even more of an under. So off of that defensive performance against the Kings the other night, I would say Clippers D is coming around, and I would look under.
All right, we agree on that. And one of the faster shows here today, Rob. I guess I'm running to get out of here with how I feel today. But good job nonetheless. And I think it's about that time where we go to best bets. So I'll ask you, is there anything that you would like to promote and maybe a play that you like a little bit more than the rest?
Well, I'll take this time here, Ski, just to promote the fact that it's college football bowl season. Bowls start on Saturday. They come right out of the chute with 6 games on Saturday. All of my Saturday plays are going up as soon as I conclude here with Ski. And as fate would have it, today is half price off every play at wagertalk.com. Half price Thursday, so you can get all the bowl plays released here this afternoon for Saturday's action for half price. Just go ahead over to wagertalk.com. You can find all my work there. If you're not a member of wagertalk.com, it's pretty simple. Just leave your email address. You'll have instant access to all the free video content and written content that we as a group of handicappers, I think there's 30 plus of us, provide each and every day. You can catch me over there later this afternoon on the NBA Tip-Off Show with Joe Ranieri as host. I think that goes 4:15 East, 1:15 on the Pacific Coast. So we'll be going over some games there as well if you need more NBA analysis. But once again, bowl packages, they're going to be up and available. You can get the entire bowl season, by the way, for just $99. My college football has been really, really good. Last 3 months, #1 over there at Wager Talk. So go ahead and check it out, wagertalk.com. For the best bet, Ski, I'm just going to go back to what's been working for me lately. Again, we live by that creed. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm going to try Bulls Miami over 216.5. Billy Donovan clued us into it. He actually showed that he meant what he said with some results. Those results keep coming in the fashion that he said they would. So I'm going to just, try and keep cashing tickets, maybe 4 in a row here with over 216.5 Bulls Miami.
I like it. And for myself, you guys know all of my work. You can also find at wagertalk.com. And I didn't mention, but you guys know, I see you guys doing it in the chat. Drop your best bets down there. I will shout out a couple here really quick, but I will record. I'll go back and, look at some in the chat and we'll come back and see how we all did yesterday. But DB, he's 3-0 sharing in the chat. He likes Cavs team total over. Justin's best bet is Jokic over his rebounds. Saturated likes Exum over PRA, and Kobe, he's been a wagon over 20.5 points. So some good stuff coming in the chat there. Dr. Shilly liking Portland minus 3.5 among some others. Like I said, I will go back through the chat and go through the best bets. For people on the replay, you can watch the live chat. You can watch the live chat when you're rewatching the show. You just have to click the thing over where it says comments if you're watching on your phone, or if you're on your computer, it's in the top right. So a lot of best bets coming in the chat, and I appreciate you guys. My best bet for the show, I will be on Portland, and I will be betting both the money line and the spread. And we call that the ski line around here. What I'm doing is covering my spread bet with the money line bet. So if they win and cover, you win both bets. If they just win, you don't lose any money. If they lose outright, you lose both bets. Simple. So I told you guys, rested home favorites versus unrested opponents win 73.6% of the time straight up. Minus 160 is already 61.5% implied probability. But if you do the ski line, it drops it to you're creating a minus 136 line, and that's 57.6%. So wherever you decide to play it, like I said, I will be betting both. Blazers are the best bet for me today. And we appreciate you guys. Like I always say, the show is absolutely nothing without the chat, and a lot of good information being shared every single day. Lots of winners, just like I said to start the show off. So appreciate you guys. Robin, myself will be back tomorrow. And best of luck if you tell. Good luck, everybody, on all of your action. We'll catch you guys later.